Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are now listening to That Infernal Noise podcast, part of the Mental Health News Radio Network. Fuck yeah. So welcome back for another episode. We're here. We're back with shenanigans.
No, this is the not shenanigans. Everything else in our life is the shenanigans.
That's very fair.
We can control this.
Also very fair. I know we haven't introduced ourselves in a long time. I don't know. We may have like one or two more listeners. So I'm Nisha.
What? You introduced me. I'm not a fucking monkey.
You're a grown-ass man who can say your own name, though.
I don't like saying it. We established that last night.
I don't like saying your name either. This is my husband, Robert. Why would you make me do that?
Because it's funny and I wanted to see you make that face.
Gross. That's not nice. Not nice at all.
I had fucking half of an emotional breakdown because I said a line from King of the Hill, and it bothered me.
Yes. Because...
Damn it, Bobby. Yeah, see, like, it feels weird. I'm sober right now. Like, no edibles, and it still feels fucking oogie.
Because it is. I don't call you that. I will never call you that. It's fine. It's completely fine that your family does.
I've never... Well, I take that
not,
back. I acted like it bothered me whenever I was younger, but...
It just doesn't...
That's why Gabriel started calling me Bobby, was because he wanted to get under my skin because I called him Gabby.
Well...
And now he's just like, oh, hey, Bobby. You're like...
Okay.
And I'm just like, what's up? Like, it doesn't have the same impact on me anymore.
Yeah, no. So, how are things?
I don't know why you asked me that question and don't just go into it like we don't live the exact same life.
Well, we don't live the exact same life because we experience our life differently.
The perception is different, but the shit that we go through is exactly the same.
Fair and valid. So... we've been going through it. I mean, like, life is lifing, you know.
By the time this gets released, I think it's either 3 or 4 weeks since we put one out. Yeah.
Wow.
That's how quick all this shit goes by.
Wow. Sorry, that kind of jostled my brain. Has not been 3 weeks.
I'll tell you exactly how long it's been. Continue.
But Jesus, I don't even know where to pick up. I don't even know where, like, on a calendar where 3 weeks to go is. Isn't it? It bothers me. I was going to say, isn't it weird? But no, it isn't weird because time isn't real. Let's see. Today is that. So
3 weeks. It'll be 3 weeks whenever this comes out.
1, 2, 3. Oh my God. So.
Yeah, because it was September 24th.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, in that time, we've had a lot go on just because we have kids that are still in school. So we still have the day-to-day monotony of, pick up or drop off, pick up, all that. That's just because that's our life right now for the next.
And we have kind of set up like, not a schedule per se, but an idea of when we could record on a weekly basis instead of trying to shove it all in through the weekend because our weekends have been so busy we haven't had time.
This is very true. That, and on top of that, just last weekend was no, 2 weekends ago.
Yep.
God. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't realize how fucking quick that shit goes.
Like all of my time runs together.
And that's why I want to record on a more regular basis. That way if
I'm saying
God forbid
Thursdays
shit,
are the day.
yeah, if shit happens, then we already have something
Yeah.
so we can be more consistent.
Well, because we have, I'm pretty sure we've said it on here that our oldest daughter is type 1 diabetic.
Well, we did the thing with her, and she
Oh,
talked
yeah, that's
about it.
right. That's
I
right.
mean,
That's
I'm
right.
pretty sure we talked about it before that too, but
Sorry. Because of everything, and I don't know, the last 38 years of Nisha, my brain gets kind of mushy and I forget things. So
yay.
it happens. Well, since she is type 1 diabetic,
And since she's been left to her own devices since August, because she's at college now.
yeah, she's living on campus. We had a medical scare where she went into severe diabetic ketoacidosis. Long story short, for anybody who doesn't know anything about diabetes, especially type 1 diabetes, because it is different from type 2 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, your pancreas stops working.
And you have it forever.
And you have it forever. There's no reversing it.
Yeah, reversal. There's no amount of working out, eating healthy that will fix
And that's
that.
what type 2 is. Type 2 is usually older people who are, got them extra LBs and,
So what happened to Mom?
Yeah. So, and type 2 is reversible. Type 1 is not.
If you take the steps
If you do what you need to do. But she needs insulin at all times. Like, she needs to give herself insulin. And just life happened and things weren't done the way that they needed to be done. And she found out. And that was terrifying.
Again.
Because we
The first time she didn't know. We didn't know.
Yeah, the first time was when she was being diagnosed.
9 years ago.
10 years ago.
It's almost 10 years ago.
Was it?
It was after the school year.
Oh, yeah, because it was...
So it's 9. It's right in between. It's 9.5.
Yeah, because she was 9 going on 10. And she's 18 going on 19. Excuse me. Okay. Sorry. My insides are like, pay attention to me for some reason. For no reason. As the parent of adult children, because we have half out of the house, half in the house, so it's a different dynamic. It's a weird dynamic, but it is what it is.
We get 2 out of high school, and then we get a year off, and then we got another one back in high school.
Yep.
Or not back in high school, but in high school.
In high school, yeah. We have another kid back in high school. And as my therapist says, that the whole transition as a parent, you go from being a manager to an interested party, and that is, I thought being a step parent was hard. Going from
being a parent in general is hard, and then you factor in the step thing, then you factor in the divorce thing, the co-parenting, like all of that shit.
Yeah.
And then
they tell you you can't, you're no longer a manager of your children's lives, which is they're their own people. They're not my property. They're their own entity. They're people. But becoming an interested party and not being the manager is harder than I would say outside of tragic and extreme situations, this part is the hardest part of being a parent.
Because you have to let go.
Yeah, you have to let go. Because outside of like severe traumatic experiences, which I'm not really going to dive into, because that's just tragic and it is what it is. But this part outside of tragedy is, I think, the hardest part of being a parent. Because letting go, like, not, I don't know. And I know it's probably a control thing and
it's not just a control thing, it's a protection thing.
But that falls under, and that's where
I'm not arguing that, but it's not like you're just trying to micromanage the kid. It's because you want to protect them forever, like you did whenever they were little.
Yeah, 100%.
And you can't.
No. Because these little motherfuckers want to like grow up and have lives.
That's not true. Kaylee did not want to at all.
This is fair.
We kind of made her.
She kind of has to. Like,
I'm not arguing that, but she's not entirely wrong by saying we made her do it.
That's fair.
Because she did have the drive to want to go to college and all that stuff, but we were the ones like definitely pushing her to do it.
Well, it was. We didn't push her to go to college until she said,
not pushing her to go to college, but pushing her to get out and do her.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
That's what I mean by that.
Oh, okay. Because I was like,
we didn't push her for college until she said, I think I want to go to college at the beginning of her senior year. It was like, fuck, all right. We haven't been planning for this the entire time, but let's pivot and get the shit figured out.
Make it happen.
And we did.
Yeah.
And no problems. So.
But and then like there's going to be a time where Kaylee's going to go through something, and this was one of those times where you and I spent the night at the hospital with her that first night, and it was just her and I the second night. And no matter how old she is, if that happens again,
God forbid.
I don't want it to happen again. That's
because her recoup is a motherfucker after that.
It is. She just slept for days and days.
And then we kept her home that week after.
Yeah.
Because she went in on Sunday, got out on Tuesday. And then Tuesday through Sunday, she was here.
Yeah.
Sleeping on this mattress that I'm sitting on, folded up.
Yes. And
then she just slept. Like, that's all she could do. And, like, she had to recoup.
Yeah. Then she had been sick for weeks. Her body was slowly, doing this.
I think it was more serious than we thought. And more serious than they were all letting on. And I think that was actually part of it, if I was betting. Because it was the same symptoms, just not as severe. And I think her body was trying to tell her that something was wrong.
Probably.
I don't think she was actually, like, sick, if I was betting. I think it was that.
Oh, yeah. Well, she could have had, like, a small stomach bug or,
It's all speculative at this point, but I don't think that's what it was. I think it was her body on the onset of it, because I know it can happen like that, but I don't think that's what it was. I think it was slowly doing that, and it was like cycling in and out.
And then not to mention that, the amount of stress that she's under and things like that. But no matter what, when things need to get taken care of and when we can be there for the kids, we will be there no matter what, to the best of our abilities and capabilities, because we may not always be capable to help, just because whatever the case is, we just may not be able to help, but we'll help to the best of our capabilities. We'll help to.
And luckily that hasn't presented itself yet. And like, we've been able to do what we need to do for all of them.
Yeah. And
Luckily, anytime anything has come up, but
yeah, but there's also been times with like Chris where he was in between jobs or this, that, and the other, and he's like, "Hey, I can't pay my car payment this month, or it's gonna have to be late, or this, whatever, whatever." And then there's gonna be those times where we have to say, we can't help you either. In both situations, like that situation is shitty, and then having to just sit and watch because you literally can't do anything because this is
well, and you also shouldn't do anything in that situation.
Yeah.
Like, this is the real life part of it,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And I hate saying that because I didn't like seeing him struggle either.
Yeah.
But it is part of it. Like, we're all having to go through it because the fucking economy is shit for all of us. So
Yeah. It's literally like,
because at the time he was in between jobs, so was I.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just like there wasn't anything to do.
It was, we were making it, we were just making it because that's all we can do. But even though there are situations, and there are going to be, for the rest of their lives, there are going to be a lot of times where it's their choices. Because it's their life. And to sit back and only be able to give like advice. Because when they're little, it's okay. Oh, well, you have to go to school. I'm sorry. Well, you have to get that done. Sorry about your bad luck. Like that's.
How do you know you grew up in the fucking hood?
I know. Bass. Sorry.
At least the trunk's not rattling on that one.
Yeah. But apparently everyone needs to hear their music. But only the bass.
Well, we all fucking did it whenever we were kids.
That's fair.
Of course, that's probably an adult, but
This is also fair.
anyway. Helping, not being able to. Having everything just kind of have to be what it is.
Forgot the point I was trying to make, but
Sorry.
no. It's okay. I hate my brain.
No, you don't. You just don't like the way it functions sometimes.
Yeah, okay. I don't like the way my brain functions sometimes. It is incredibly difficult, especially when they're struggling, because you know what it's like to struggle. You don't want
Fucking stopped.
yeah, and like you don't want your kids to struggle, and you don't want your kids to.
That's why that fucking Jelly Roll song that we heard today, that fucking hit. That hit.
Man, and then
It's my cross to carry, so you don't have to pick it up type shit. And it's
yes.
just, that shit was beautiful.
Yeah. But then when it's medical, and then there's
literally nothing you can do but watch your child suffer and hope and pray that they get better.
Yeah.
It's a motherfucker.
Especially when they are having to hurt your kid because it's medically necessary, and you have to watch
and she has shitty veins, so they had to keep sticking her over and over and over.
They had to
again.
like it was so
15.
bad. They had to bring a sonogram in to find a vein in her upper arm,
and they still couldn't do it the first time. Like that took.
They did it 3-4 times.
I think the dude tried twice, and then they got that other chick in there she tried once, that first one didn't work, and then on the fourth one that
one?
she tried, and that's not counting all the other times that they didn't try with the sonogram.
Yeah, and this is not just a simple in and out. This is they're pushing a needle in and moving it
Poking
around
and like rolling the vent so
yeah.
they can get in the right way, and it was just
She had to have
watching her with tears in her fucking eyes,
yeah.
and I'm sitting there having to like hold her like I did whenever she was little and try
Yeah.
to calm her down and just keep her soothed as much as possible. It's like
She was so
that shit is
dehydrated.
fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah. When we went to the ER, they ended up having to have a port or a line in her neck because they couldn't find
That's
anything.
the only way they could do it, and
Yeah,
they
and
had to get her hydrated immediately.
quickly. Yeah. It is
She was terrifying.
yeah. It's
There's
terrifying.
there's
It's
no other way to put
heartbreaking.
it.
And then on top of that, there's so many different layers of guilt, and even though it's literally not something I can do. We've done everything we can to like teach them what we can in life.
And try to prepare them and try to get them to be as responsible as possible,
And we
which
all
is hypocritical because
yeah, cuz
of
we all
us.
fuck up. We're human. This is life. This is life. We're going to make mistakes and the thing is that we're going to do things that we know are wrong because I don't feel like doing that. I don't want to do that. I don't you know this that and the other, but so I'm not like I was angry kind of at her. Kind of. But not really.
I was, but I knew that's not helpful in that moment.
Yeah.
She doesn't need me being angry in that moment. She needs me to be her fucking dad again.
Yeah.
And like, baby, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. Da 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 da. And I believed every word that I was saying.
Yeah.
I don't know how I believed it, but I did. And you had gone because we knew that they were going to transfer her to the ICU of the other hospital.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
were getting a bag together or whatever so we could stay. Well, so you could stay because I was going to go home at the time. And then I got home and immediately was just like, nope, fuck this. I'm going to the hospital. But in that moment, like she started feeling a little bit better. She was a little bit more cognizant and not as spacey as she was.
Yeah.
And she just rolled over and she's just like, I'm scared, Dad. She's just like, I don't want to end up like Momo. And that fucking broke me.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Because that's all I thought the entire time. Is like, please do not take her away like you took my fucking mom away. Don't fucking do that to me. Not now.
No.
And like I just put my foot down. Like I literally just like, you're not taking my fucking kid away. I am not sacrificing my fucking daughter for whatever the fuck is coming. I don't care what it is. You are not taking my fucking baby girl away from me.
Yeah.
You're not. I don't know who the fuck I was talking to. But I have never been so sure of anything in my entire fucking life. Yeah. And it fucking hurt. It hurt to watch her like that again.
Yeah.
And then she's, of course, is bringing it up. She was like, this reminds me of the first time. And like, I really liked watching NXT with you. And it was just like, and she was like, I didn't do that enough. And I immediately fucking teared up. I was like, there's going to be plenty more opportunities, baby. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Because I know what she's saying in that moment. That she's scared. She doesn't know what's about to happen. And what do you do in that moment? You know, as a dad, as the guy that's supposed to protect them their entire lives
Yeah.
and make them feel better and like,
Because at that point, all you can do is sit on the bed and hold the blankets and both be scared of the monster under the bed. And you have to do it together.
and all I did was hold her hand. Like, I was sitting in that chair and I was holding her hand. I was like, baby, there is plenty of time for you to annoy me. And I meant it.
Yeah, of course.
Because as pissy as I don't really act pissy anymore, but that, the same shit that she does whenever I do annoying shit. I did admit to her before that, though. Because she was like, you missed this whenever she was laying in our bed. I think it was the day before.
Probably.
She was laying in our bed, and she was just like, yo, you missed this. Don't lie. And I was like, I've never said I didn't. And she just kind of stopped, looked. I was like, I miss this. I miss this every fucking day.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, why do you think I let you do it every time you come over? And I don't say anything. I was like, I fucking miss this. And she just kind of like, oh. And she shut up and just kind of like cuddled into me like she used to. And it's just like, it's hard watching them grow up and then deal with adversity on top of that.
Yeah. Because I know that I didn't give birth to them.
That means fuck all.
To some.
To me, it means fuck all. And I'm sorry, I'm the only one that matters.
That's fair.
And I've told you that.
Yeah.
Everybody else's opinion can be damned. I'm their father. I say it doesn't fucking matter. Everybody else can eat a dick.
That's fair.
Because you've been their mom.
For the past 13 years. And obviously, I have given birth to a child, so anybody who's listening, yes, I know what it's like, blah, blah, blah. I'm more than just a bonus mom. I guess. I don't know. All of that bothers me. Anyway,
that's why I don't like putting the qualifier on it.
yeah, but in some situations, I have to. So to watch them struggle and to like not be able to fix it, because I know that Chris doesn't struggle in the same way as Kaylee.
His is like the adult coming into your own, finding your way in the economy, fucking society bullshit.
And he and I don't talk about that as much.
But that's him.
Who he is.
He's a dude, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and he's 20 on top of that. Like, the fact that he comes over with a smile on his face and isn't lamenting it.
Yeah.
I count the dub.
Yeah.
He seems to like being around us, and he smiles, and it's always laughter, and we're always just like having a good time whenever he's around. So
yeah.
He doesn't seem like he hates it, and so that's the part I choose to focus on.
Yeah, but there's also, shit for him that I wish I could fix, and I can't, because it's life. And as much as you want to protect them and want to do obviously what's best for them, and it's still just so heartbreaking, because I still, I remember I still have it. It's in the garage somewhere. Like the little red ape that he gave me. It was a red little stuffed like carnival toy. It had like a green stomach, I think. Like the little...
Oh, that one. Okay.
And it had like the yellow bottoms of its feet and stuff. And when I think of them, I see them as themselves. Like if I were to think, okay, Chris, right now.
I have to focus to see that.
I don't. I see him as him. He's a man. Like, he's a grown ass man. When I think of Kaylee, I think of Kaylee. Noe, Logan. Like, I see them now, but the feeling of it, especially when it comes to like just wanting to help them and make everything go away and make everything better
You
for
just
them.
want to grab them up whenever they were little.
Yeah, and then they turn into that little.
And that's why I linger every time I hug him goodbye. Just like, I don't want to fucking let go, but I know I have to. It sucks. And I do the same thing with Kaylee.
Yeah. And I know that times like this change people. They change situations.
It's all the fuck we've been doing.
Yeah. But it's weird to have it's just weird to have
The juxtaposition.
yeah. And just
Where you want to hold them like a little kid, but you know they're not that
Yeah.
little kid anymore.
and you can't. And obviously, some of this is selfish reasons because you don't, as the parent, you don't want to deal with the pain of letting go and your kids growing up. But the vast majority of this for me is just keeping them safe. Like, I just want them to be happy and not have to deal with.
But they're going to have to deal with bullshit. That's part of growing up and coming into your own. You have to navigate all this shit
Yeah.
essentially on your own. You can go to people for advice, but ultimately, like, you're going through it on your own,
Yeah.
regardless. So, and she's already had to deal with that. You know, and it's a real bitter pill to swallow. To see the stuff that Chris and Kaylee have gone through since they've been on their own, like however you want to phrase that.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It does.
Because they both struggled to find their place,
Yeah.
you know, and try to figure themselves out. And they are doing leaps and bounds better than we did at their fucking age.
Yeah.
Because they have already started taking the self-inventory and figuring who they are
Yeah.
out at a much younger age.
Setting boundaries at a much
And
younger
not
age.
having it be dependent upon other people. It's like
Right.
they know who they are. And I could not be happier about that. Because I'm still codependent. You know, and whatever, but it's really hard to break those fucking cycles.
It is.
And the fact that they, not even legal to drink, have started doing that and figuring that out, I can't
Yeah.
be more proud of them.
Yeah. Because they're starting at a much different spot than we were at their age. And I just hope, and that's all I can do is hope that we've equipped them enough and make them feel comfortable enough to talk to us and to come to us if they need help. I guess that's the only thing we can do. It's the best thing we can do.
We can't do anything else. Like, literally. We can't keep them in a bubble.
No.
As much as we would want to. Because it'd be easier, but...
Then what kind of life do they have?
Mm-hmm. What kind of life are we giving them?
Yeah.
In that situation? You know, we just have to let them live it. I know that's rich coming from me, but...
That's okay.
I mean, because of all that stress, I went batshit crazy.
I'll let you take over.
I don't even know where to start. 'Cause we've had nonstop conversations about it since then.
Well, the past, I don't know, for forever, financially it's been rough because either it's just been you working or just me working, and then when we're both working, it's playing catch up, and even though you knew all of that, there was,
I woke up with a stick in my ass one day,
and
and I went completely fucking left.
because I was gonna take care of things that we needed to take care of, and we weren't gonna have a lot left over, and on top of everything, that was just very frustrating. I mean, it's always frustrating, and it is frustrating to me too. It's not. I just have to keep pushing, and like it is. But that was not in the cards for us last week.
So I'm self-diagnosing,
Yes.
even though I shouldn't, but I know that. But I know I can't get properly diagnosed because I am not confident in my ability to be honest
To a physician.
to a psychiatrist or a therapist at this particular moment. And I told you that.
Yeah.
Like, the only person I've been able to be completely honest with about everything is you. I have nobody else to do that with. And it's unfortunate, but I'm glad I at least have you in that situation, because if I just had to deal with all of this shit in my head by myself, it would not go well.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I've been doing research, got a book today. There's stuff we're going to be going through together.
Yeah.
So, you know how to handle those moments a little bit better. And hopefully, I figure out ways to not completely fly off the fucking handle for no goddamn reason. And it's like, I knew something was wrong with me my entire life. I've always known, because I've always had those spells, whatever, I don't know what to call them. Those breaks in reality, I guess. And we've talked about that, and I think I remember my first one, but I'm not sure that it was my first one. It's just the
First one you remember.
it's the potent one in my head.
And you were telling me about that.
Last night, as a matter of fact.
Was it last night?
It was last night.
All my time runs
It's
together.
all bleeding together because of how much has been going on. And it was an instance where, what did I say? I had to be like 9 or 10. And my mom and I were just fucking yelling at each other. Mm-hmm. Just back and fucking forth. And it got to the point where I wish you were never, or I wish I didn't have you. I wish I was never born. Da 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 da. Whatever. And that was the first time I remember breaking with reality. And not in the aspect like I blacked out, but in the aspect that I wasn't in control of my body and the things I was saying and the things I was doing.
Yeah.
And after all of that most recent spell, all I could think was, I wish my mom was here to talk to. Because that is what popped up into my head during all that. And it was just, she probably went through the same thing. She probably went through the same splits because she didn't know how to process things. She didn't understand what she was going through or what the fuck ever. Her personality is very similar to mine and the self-deprecation, and she'd rather just put it all on herself as opposed to asking somebody else for help or whatever the situation is. And I have a feeling Grandma had the same shit, because I can remember instances there where she just fucking lost it. And it was in that moment that I was just like, I wish both of them were here for me to talk to. And it killed me that they weren't.
Yeah.
And I have to get better. I can't keep doing that because I've burned so many fucking people down with that shit. I've destroyed myself because of that shit. And I can't do it anymore. I can't split with reality and then have that whole all or nothing thing. I fucking hate that. I hate that so much. Which is, of course, exactly what I do whenever I go fucking left. Is like, I do everything that I hate people doing.
That's fair. In those moments, hold on, I have to tell him myself. In those moments where you're in it and there's nothing I can say.
And you have seen the very worst of it over the years.
There are so it does get frustrating. And sometimes I just want to go and roll my eyes, but I know that is not the time to do that.
You ever want to see a powder keg blow up in your fucking face? That's one of the ways to do it.
Yeah. But
What was, I don't understand your level of fed upness.
I was going to say frustrated, but okay.
So fucking stupid.
Oh my God, that was so funny.
I had to tell you to breathe. You were laughing at me so hard whenever I fucking said that.
It was funny. But in those, when you're doing all the things that I know that you hate, I just want to. And then when I see, and that's why I try to gently give you examples, and those never work. And you're just like, no. Well, you don't yell like that anymore, but like you're like, nope. That's what
I wish it was far off from that, but it's really not.
This is a comical representation.
Yeah, but it's really not that dissimilar.
That's why I said comical.
It's like a petulant child be like, no, it's not it. It's not the. And just kind of stumbling over their bullshit.
Same.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
It's like whenever he does it to fucking irritate people. Like he's not doing it because he actually thinks that. He's doing it because he just likes arguing and he thinks it's funny.
Yeah, you in those moments you split and you're like, nope, this is it.
It's all or nothing, and I'm always right. And in waking life, I'm usually the one that's right. You know, in like cognizant, logical life, I can tell you everything. You know what I mean? Like I have that intuition, the gut feeling, whatever you want to call it. Like there's very few times I've been wrong about shit.
Yeah.
Outside of those moments.
Yeah.
And then it's the exact fucking opposite. Occasionally I'll hit a fucking nugget, but the rest of it is just fucking retardation. Like there's no other way to put it. I'm not saying differently abled. I'm saying it's a retardation because my level is up here and then my level is retarded in those fucking moments where it's just, there's no logic to be had. There's no nothing. It's like the logical robotic being that I am just completely goes away.
Yeah.
It's like fucking Vulcans. Whenever we watched, you know what I'm talking. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Whenever Spock's going through it, and I think it's Discovery.
Yeah.
And he's like off on his thing, and he broke with his logic because his human side or his I think they refer to it as human and not Earth side, whatever. His human and his Vulcan side are at each other.
Yeah.
Because one's wanting to be logical, one's wanting to be emotional, and it just he breaks.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happens. And I said it then, whenever we watched it. I was like, that's exactly what it feels like. Because I had never seen
a representation
of the shit that goes on in my head. And it's just like, that's fucking it. Where I'm super emotional, but I'm trying to insert logic into it because I'm a logical person. But the logic that I'm trying to insert is illogical.
Yeah.
Because I'm emotional. And
Yeah.
I can't see past the emotion.
You're making the emotion logic. And truth.
Or I'm trying to justify the emotion with false logic. Like I'm pointing to things that I could draw a line from.
In the emotional state.
In the emotional state. But in the logical state, it's like, no, you're just grasping at fucking straws.
But in that moment,
it's
definite
holy
logic.
writ. This is what the fuck it is.
It's logic. That's fair.
And it's infuriating.
A little bit.
I meant for me.
Yep, it's just...
I didn't say it wasn't fucking infuriating for you. I'm just saying from my perspective, it's fucking infuriating because I don't like not having control. And I don't have control in those fucking moments. It's like... the thing that I've always equated it to is like being John Malkovich. You're in there, but you can't do anything. You're
passenger.
You're a passenger in the car watching the fucking car wreck. And it's just like, what the fuck?
Side note, one of the strangest, coolest fucking movies ever to be created.
That movie always weirded me out.
Every
fucking time it weirds me out.
It's so odd. It's so quirky. And I think that might be one of those cult classic kind of things.
No, like it definitely is. And it's not that it's a bad movie. It just freaks me out because that's how I feel.
That's fair.
And I don't like that. I don't like being confronted with shit whenever I'm watching a fucking movie. You know what I mean? I just want to sit down and fucking enjoy. I watch movies to escape reality.
I just want to watch this movie, watch this show, listen to this song without being confronted with shit.
I use all those things as an escape.
That's fair.
And inevitably, no matter what it is, I end up connecting with it. And it's just like, fuck.
That's fair.
All right. That's why I stopped watching horror movies as much. Because I loved fucking horror movies whenever I was younger. And now it's just like I have no desire to watch them because I don't want to connect with that side of myself anymore. It's like I can acknowledge my dark side without leaning into it and accepting it. And whenever I immerse myself in that shit, it takes my brain down a dark fucking road. And I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible.
That's fair.
Like reality's dark enough as it is. I don't need to create more shit in my head. Especially right now. But I've always gone in ebbs and flows that way where it's just like I'm big into horror and then I don't want to watch it. Like I'm big into metal and then I'm on a hip hop kick or whatever.
Yeah.
So
do you think at some point
I am going to get help. At some point.
You're going to get...
But that's why I said I wanted to get through the book and everything first. To see if what I'm thinking lines up the way that I think it's going to. As far as a potential diagnosis.
That's fair.
Because I have to go in with facts. I have to go in with, I read this book, XYZ, this is my experience, XYZ.
Yeah.
It all jives. And I'm not saying that I couldn't do it without that. It's just for me, for my peace of mind.
Yeah.
I have to be able to read it, identify with it, and accept it before I could take it to that next. I have to do that.
And I understand that.
Because I don't trust myself right now.
And I understand that. But my only concern with that is that what happens if, You go in and you've read books about...
And that's when I go and say, this is what I tried to do. It did not work. This is not it. I need fucking help. I need to know what the fuck's wrong with me because I was certain this is what it was. And now I don't believe that.
Okay, but what if you are? What if you still believe that and you're like, okay, I do believe that. I do want to talk to a professional, and you go talk to a professional and they're like, no, it's XYZ, not
then
this.
I have to accept that.
Okay, I just didn't want...
I'm not hanging my hat on it by any stretch of the imagination. That's why I'm not saying it on this.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. And I'm not going to be one of those people that self-diagnoses, and this is what I am, and it becomes my fucking identity bullshit. It's like, I'm not doing all that.
Yeah, no.
I'm trying to approach this as responsibly as possible and look into it on my own to try to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
Because I've spent too much time leaning on everybody else. Well, you. Fuck everybody else. It's been you. I'm calling it like I see it. I spent too much time leaning on you for all of that I have to start doing some of the fucking heavy lifting my goddamn self now. And the only person I've ever been able to be 100% honest with is you. And I don't know that I'm going to do that with anybody else right now.
And that's fair.
So, therapy would be pointless. Talking to a psych would be pointless. Because I feel at this juncture, I just water it down and be like, oh, well, you could. And it's like, no. You got to figure this shit the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I can't do that just yet.
You're not confident in saying... these are the things I do in those situations.
Well, not to mention the fact that I already tried to explain what I was going through, and I was like, oh, well, we can't handle that. So here's some other resources. And it's just like, I'm going to have this problem fucking anywhere. I'm going to have to find somebody that specializes in it to begin with.
Yeah.
That's going to be an arm and a fucking leg. It's going to be, because you're having to find a specialist for this particular disorder.
Fair.
And it's just like, okay, let's try to do some legwork before all of that. Because I might get through all of it and just be like, oh, well, that's probably not it. And they do have, like, the synopsis that I was reading, it does have comparisons to other things. So it's like, you could think it's this, but it's actually da-da-da-da-da.
XYZ.
And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the comparison so I can be like, well, that doesn't exactly make sense, but this makes sense. And
yeah.
So I have something to go off of.
Yeah.
And regardless, what's the worst that can happen? I don't have what I think I do, and I still get good coping mechanisms to deal with the same type of shit.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be irresponsible and hold everything in and not go to therapy, but I just don't trust myself to go to therapy right now.
And that's...
because I told you whenever I started therapy, I'm going to be 100% honest. I have to be 100% honest, otherwise what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
So right now it's what's the fucking point, because I don't know that I'm going to be 100% honest.
Yeah.
Because I've had so many abandonment issues recently, and I just want people to like me and like all that shit.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to add to where my therapist thinks I'm fucked up too. And I know that that's not the case. I'm just saying that that's where my head goes.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. So, no.
So, yeah.
It's been fun.
I just want what's best for you. Because I told you, you know, whatever books we need to read, if whatever couples...
It's not going to be no work. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a, let's sweep this under the rug and see if it gets better.
No.
There's none of that for me right now.
No.
It's the exact opposite. I want as much information as I can get, and I want to be able to not necessarily figure it out myself, but at least understand
And be able to talk about it confidently.
cogently, where I can explain this to a professional in a way that they'll understand that I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm not just pulling this out of my ass because it's the new fancy fucking buzz term bullshit.
Yeah, no.
Because shit like that does get thrown around a lot.
It does.
And I don't want to be another one of those people. I want
fair.
to have information that I can point to and be like, this is what it is. And if I'm being honest, this is what it's been my entire fucking life.
Yeah.
And I never had a way to explain it before until I started hearing certain podcasts and certain people talking about the shit that they were going through.
Right.
And it's just, I mean, how many boxes did that shit check? Because you listened to it too. It was like, that sounds familiar. That sounds familiar. That sounds familiar. And it was just every single thing that they were talking about. And like,
Didn't you say out of like a 48 point thing?
It was
like you got 42 or something.
I think it was Psychiatry Today or some shit like that. They had a test for what I thought it was. And out of a possible 48 points, I got 42 in answering their, it had to be 48 questionnaire to where it was severe. And it's just like, oh, that's not fucking surprising. But I'm still not hanging my hat on it because that's some random fucking test that God knows who created.
Right.
So I want to actually do the legwork and figure out, could that be what it is? And go from there, I guess.
Well, at least you don't have to go through it alone. Because I know that it's been a rough 2 weeks.
It's been rough 2 fucking years.
Well, if we're going that way, it's been a rough 38 years. Okay? But
yeah, I had 2 good years. Before I could, hold memory.
before you could walk and talk and...
No, I was talking fucking out the box. No pun intended.
But like I told you last night, like I'm a ride or die. So whatever we need to do, like we'll do that. Because I don't want my husband to feel sad anymore.
It's way beyond sad.
Yeah, I know, but that's the best way I can put it because I don't know exactly you and I are a lot alike in a lot of different ways, and this is just not one of the ways.
Our emotional reactions are different.
Yeah. And I don't want to see that pain because it's pain.
No, I know. Because I know that because of the shit that comes up in those moments.
It is. It's a lot of pain.
It's just all the loss, all the abandonment, all of the change, and coming to grips with shit about myself. Like it's all of this shit that I hold in on a regular basis that just bleh.
Yeah. So whatever we need to do, because I'm not one of these people who, oh, everything's fine. No, I can't be that anymore. I used to be that, but I can't. I can't be the, oh, well, I was there for you already. I'm not going to be there for you again.
And that's what the majority of people in my life have done.
Yeah.
Where they were there as long as it was convenient for them.
Yeah.
It's like, I get it. I understand it because I've had to walk away from people too. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
I was like, but fuck, I need somebody.
Yeah.
And that's all it's ever boiled down to. It's like, I want somebody to be there for me the same way I'm willing to be there for them.
Yeah.
And you are literally the only person that's ever done that. And that's why it's a bigger kick in the dick that, of course, whenever I snap like that, I take it out on you. Like, I don't take it out on the people that deserve it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no other way to put it. Because there are people that have deserved my vitriol. I'm not going to say I never took it out on anybody, but all of the shit that I take out on you now has nothing to do with you. Like, legitimately has nothing to do with you.
Oh, I know. I don't know how it was. It had to be end of '09. So how many years ago was that?
15.
Fuck.
It's 24 now. It's the end of 24.
15 years ago. Fuck you.
Yep.
Sorry.
Our oldest was 5.
Our youngest two weren't even born. Fuck.
Kaylee was 3. About to be 4.
Fuck. Fuck. Sorry, that one kicked me right in the dick hole.
That's convenient because you don't have one.
I know. Wow. Anyway. Fuck. I don't even know where. I'm
09.
back.
End of 09.
I'm back. The end of '09, I told you that you were it for me. And that it's me and you, buddy. And
there were some deviations on that path. Mm-hmm. Oh, I wasn't the only one. Don't fucking do that to me. At least I was doing it altruistically, not just trying to get piped. And for the record, I'm not bitter about that. I'm actually not bitter about that.
Yeah.
Because I stopped bringing that shit up. So that's how you know I've actually not bitter about it.
That's fair. Also fair.
Now just bring up shit from my childhood and how I'm a broken little kid. Yay.
Yay. But that's still true. I know in those moments you feel like the world's just going to leave you again.
I feel like the world has. So I'm just waiting
for me to go.
For the shoe to drop with you.
That's fair.
You know, it's just like my kids are even fucking leaving me. Like I said,
not.
I said that, and
yeah,
but they are in a way too.
They are,
you know, and it's not their fault. They're out living their lives. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're doing what I trained them to do.
Yeah, it's nothing personal.
No, I know, but in those moments, I take everything personal.
Yes,
it's like my kids are gone, even though 2 of them are still in the fucking house. Like, that's fucking dumb in the first fucking place, and then all the loss that we've experienced in the past fucking 6 years, and not just death, like
just loss
in general, you know, and it just
because loss of friendships hurt too.
I still grieve it, and I talked to my therapist about that, and she said very bluntly, like, you grieve the loss of a friendship, the loss of a relationship, loss of a job, the same way you grieve somebody that's died.
Loss is loss, just like trauma is trauma.
And it was a motherfucker, because I really thought about it, and I was like, it's exactly the same, because I feel exactly the same. I feel alone.
Yeah.
And considering that's how I feel in general, It makes it worse.
But I can tell you this right now. What's today? The 12th?
Yeah.
October 12th. I will say that now. Today.
That, I guarantee you, that peaked it.
Sorry. My bad.
Sorry.
My bad. I can tell you today, because of everything that's happened, especially in the past 2 years. The past 5, definitely. Past 5 to 6, definitely. But the past 2, for sure.
They've been a clusterfuck of all clusterfucks.
This past year, I ain't putting up with bullshit.
Oh no, my bullshit tolerance is fucking nil. That's why I expect you to fucking leave me in those moments. Because how many times have I said it? Where it's just like, I don't understand why you deal with my bullshit.
I don't know how many times you've said something like that.
I've said it in those moments, outside of those moments. I apologize for being a cunt on almost a daily basis, if not multiple times daily. And you giggle every time, but I mean it. I mean it, though. Like, I wouldn't want to fucking deal with this. I didn't want to deal with this shit. And granted, it's not exactly the same thing that I had to deal with, but it's still... It's not fucking fun. And it's really not fun to do it to somebody who I consider to be the best human I've ever met outside of my grandmother. And even then, I think it's a toss-up at this point. And I don't say that fucking lightly.
Oh, don't do that.
I'm being serious, though.
Well, because...
I wouldn't say that if I don't fucking mean it.
Yeah, I know. That kind of made me uncomfortable. Not in a bad way, just like a... Oh, those are big shoes. Huge shoes.
They are, and you're the only person that's ever come close to filling them. In my eyes. I'm not...
I already cried so much.
Sorry.
No, that's...
Because you're the only person outside of her that I ever felt unconditional love from. And real unconditional love. Not saying unconditional love. You have stuck with me. You have held me whenever I was breaking. Just like she did whenever I was little. You were the only person besides her that has done that on a consistent basis. So that's why I say I don't say it lightly. And to know that in those moments, all I do is lash out at you. Oddly enough, the exact same way I used to do her. It hurts. And it reminds me of that whenever I was a kid. Telling the woman who raised me, well, you're not my real mom. And then seeing the pain in her eyes. Whatever she was recanting it to Grandpa. I was like, the gravitas didn't hit me at the time, obviously, but looking back at it, it's like, fuck, dude. And that's why whenever it came to like you and Gabriel being step parents, bonus parents, whatever the fuck y'all want to say, I never liked putting the qualifiers on it because it does not matter. You were showing up for my fucking kids. That is the only thing that fucking matters because Grandma didn't have to.
Yeah.
And she did. And she did not get the credit for it that she deserved. And then, I guess, subconsciously, I just decided that I was never going to look at it that way again. That there's no such thing as real parents. The real parents are the ones that show up. And it doesn't matter if you're blood, step, adopted, whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you're showing up for those kids, you're a parent. Nothing outside of it. No step, no bonus, no nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I don't like that I take my shit out on you. Like, I really don't. You're one of the people that I've hurt the most in my life, and you're the only one that hasn't hurt me.
If I have, I'm sorry.
I mean, you have, but it's like fucking small potatoes comparatively. And it wasn't even like you trying to hurt me. It was shit that you did that ended up hurting me.
Yeah.
But I wasn't doing any better at the time either. You know what I mean? Like, it's dumb shit looking back at it that I got upset about when I'm doing shit that ends relationships. You know, it's just like, it's not even comparable. That's probably why I stopped keeping score. Because I knew I was way the fuck ahead if I did.
Oh.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Ooh, look, water. You know I don't like agreeing or, like, I don't... You know I don't look at things like that, and I don't...
You were the only person that hasn't. Literally. Everything else is a fucking scorecard.
I only use it as examples when in defense.
I am well aware of that, and I appreciate that. But in those moments, whenever you're trying to talk me off the ledge and I'm already 1 foot over,
Yeah.
I'm not hearing it.
Yeah.
Whenever I get sober, that's when I acknowledge it. I'm like, no, you're right. I don't know why I go that way. I don't know why I react that way. I don't know why any of it. And that's why I'm looking for answers now and trying to take other people's experiences and see if that's what I've been experiencing these, at minimum, 13, 33 to 30 years.
Yeah.
And I know I had outbursts like I've had probably before that. It's just that whole time period is fuzzy now.
Yeah, especially when you're young. Like,
Yeah, because you don't know what's young and being a kid versus an actual break with reality.
right. Well, that
Because
and
he, like Logan, flips out about shit sometimes. And sometimes it's just kid shit. Sometimes it's stuff that really bothers him, and we have to navigate which one's which.
right.
He has to navigate which one's which.
Well, that and now that we're older, trying to remember 30 years ago is a bit hard.
My problem is I remember some of that shit way too much.
That's
Like, I remember
fair.
it too vividly.
Me, I'm the exact opposite, and I'm kind of thankful for that in a lot of moments.
I am thankful for that. Because I can't imagine. That's all I could say. It's like, I can't imagine having all of that shit in there.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't envy you. I've envied some of your abilities, like your ability to write and the ability you have with words and things like that. And that is a skill that you have that
I think that's all part and parcel, unfucking fortunately. That my recall and all that is tied to all of that.
maybe.
And that's why I consider myself a conversationalist. That's why I consider myself a writer. Like, it's all tied together.
Yeah.
Because I have all of these things that I can pull from to craft whatever I'm saying or writing or whatever.
I think that
And I have a fucking weird imagination too, where I could like get lost in shit on top of that.
that's fair.
Which probably makes the memory recall even fucking worse because I see it in fucking Technicolor instead of black and white.
Also fair.
But that's a whole nother argument that not argument, but discussion that we've had.
I think part of, because it is fact, I'm not pulling this factoid out of my ass, that childhood trauma causes damage to the brain. And I really do think that when it comes to communicating effectively, especially when needs, wants, likes, things like that. I think that part of my brain was affected severely because you see now, I'm just like, I don't care what do you want to eat? I don't give a shit.
We did that today at the grocery store. You got
Yeah.
frustrated because I was just like, oh, it doesn't bother me, whatever. And then you were just like,
And I'm not trying to.
No,
It's just like
I
I
know.
don't know. I still have to cook the shit. I don't want to pick it because I have a hard time.
You're not a
things.
decisive person
No.
in general. Like you're more of a go with the flow, and I'd much rather have somebody else decide the shit, and we'll just
But I
do it.
really do think part of that is because
I would not doubt it whatsoever.
I wasn't, yeah. I was gonna say something. I don't know if it's gonna be one of those weird things.
Just fucking say it. Most of it's weird. I hate to break it to you.
Well, because I get those looks. I say things from my childhood, and people look at me like,
No,
"That's
sweetie,
not-"
that's not fucking
And this
normal.
is like a tame, mild one. I remember, like, I wasn't allowed to drink liquids
No, yeah,
while
we
I was
talked about
eating.
that. Which is the dumbest fucking thing in general.
Because I had to eat all my food. And if
No, I understand the logic. I'm just saying that's fucking dumb. That's some white people dumb shit.
consider the source.
I know that bitch wasn't cooking with fucking.
You know what?
All
I
the
will give her
burgers.
that. You know what? She may be white by genetics. 100%.
She's Mexican in her heart.
She's something in her heart because that bitch could cook. You know what? She may have fucked me up royally and lied to me for 35 years about some serious shit. But it wasn't that, that video of the one pan dinner that the white person cooked and it's just white rice and unseasoned chicken breast.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. No, she needed some fucking flavor. Yes, she could cook.
I'm more white in that aspect. I don't give a fuck. As long as it's food and it's edible, let's do it.
I don't even remember why I brought that up or where I was going with that, but
The drink thing.
yeah, I don't remember why I brought up the trauma of it, but it's like I really, really. Oh, I think I may have hit the
That's fun.
camera with your shoe. I don't know. So, like I said, I really don't remember why I brought that up or where I was going, what point I was going with that. But it was, I don't know. Maybe that could just be like the funny trauma tidbit. That
Hashtag Tuesday trauma.
has oh wait, trauma, that's why. And then
You just said trauma 37 times and it clicked that time.
because of the childhood trauma and then the effect that it has on the brain and then
Oh, yeah, that's how we got there. I forgot too, so don't
and
feel
then the
bad.
picking and liking and that was an example of little things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I'm pretty sure I just have fucking cream of wheat in between my ears now.
No, you can keep up with me. You're not. You're definitely not.
Well, it hurts. The noodle hurts sometimes.
You'd be surprised how many people have said that after talking to me.
No, not after talking to you. I just mean in general. Like, life is hurting my head. So I know it's been a hell of a
3 weeks.
3 weeks, 2.5, whatever it's been. It's been a hell of a time. And I just want you to know that I am very proud of you for our dog is being...
Extra.
Who the fuck is she barking at? Oh, anyway. I want to let you know that I am proud of you for talking about it, for...
I can't hide anymore.
For looking into things, because the shit is scary. We both know that the mental health journey
Fucking tell me about it.
Yeah. Like, we both know that the mental health journey is a motherfucker. And you're not alone. And even if I may not understand the feelings, you're not alone. I'm gonna...
But see, you do most of the time. I just don't like admitting it because...
That's fair.
Well, it goes against my narrative that I'm doing this shit by myself.
Oh.
In those moments, it does.
Fair and valid.
Because I know that you understand me better than fucking anybody.
I would like to think so.
Logically.
Yeah.
But as we've discussed, logic goes out the fucking windows in those situations.
That's fair and valid. But it's not easy, and it is very scary to say, I need help. It's very scary to say, I don't know what's wrong with me. It's very scary. And
I have said all of those things.
Yeah.
Very recently.
I just want to let you know that I am proud of you. And that it's been fucking stressful. And I'm not going anywhere. We're going to have one of those marriages where it's like, you may be irritated with me. Go fucking take a nap. You may be tired of my shit. Go rest up.
It'd be the other way around.
Oh, that's fair. Well, no, because in those moments you're tired of my shit, whether my shit is real shit or not. You're like, quit trying to talk me down. But that's how those kind of marriages happen. Like, outside of a lot of physical, like, obvious shit that you need to get away from. Like, nah, motherfucker, buckle up, bitch. I'm strapped in. Like, I've said you're stuck with me for the past 13 years. I've said you're stuck with me for the past 15 years. Let's be real. You're stuck with me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm your wife. You're my person. You're my husband. Like, I may not like everything that happens, and
Sure?
Yeah. And I'll have to deal with my own shit on, in those situations or because of those situations, whatever the case is. But you're not going to have to do that alone, and you're not going to have to do it where you think that you're going to be judged or... No, I'm going to continue being who I've been this whole time. So just to let you know, we're good. And it's okay that you asked for help. There's nothing wrong. Or there's nothing wrong with wanting to figure something out. Ever. And with that being said...
My ass is asleep.
What ass? I love you. But with that being said, please, I don't know who all listens to this. I know there's a couple people that I know for sure listen, which yay, hi. But please, even if I don't know you, if I've never met you, if you need help, reach out. Even if you feel like you can't Google psychiatrist near me or download an app, or if you feel like you need help to do basic things.
There are lots of online resources now too.
Yes.
As far as like virtual psychiatry, telehealth for therapy, all that shit.
Yes, but please don't feel that you have to do it alone, because it is scary. And if you are already anxious and depressed and going through it and spiraling.
It seems insurmountable.
Yeah.
Especially in those moments.
And then asking for help becomes even harder. So if you feel that you are in some shit, ask for help. Someone you trust, someone, even if you have to go to an emergency room, and they do have psychiatric emergency rooms.
Well, I mean, they will give you a basic psych eval.
At an ER.
Yeah.
So if you feel that you are
Shit
in it,
happened to me.
yep. If you feel like you are in it, please get help. Reach out to someone. Talk to somebody, because you are not alone. Even if it is just a medical professional who is giving you an eval, talk to somebody.
They'll point you in the right direction.
Because you're worth, just by you being alive and being born, you are worth
The effort.
love, you are worth the effort, and you are worth peace. So please do everything you can to do that and make that happen. Share all of our stuff on social media, like our, subscribe, do all of that stuff. If you think someone else might need to hear this, please send this to them. If you have any questions, if you have any requests, if you want to send us emails, thatinfernalnpc@gmail.com. All the social media is thatinfernalnpc. Please and always come back and listen to our bullshit.
Hopefully they're not 3 weeks apart.
Hopefully it's not 3 weeks apart. So bye, guys. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you like this episode or know someone who would, please help us grow the show by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Keep up with all episodes on Buzzsprout or anywhere else you get your podcasts.